Here's a different kind of demonstration. It's working on a 24 by 24 acrylic painting, and it's not your typical kind of demo start to finish, but it is a walkthrough of the thinking behind each step of the process. So I hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, I wanted to share with you the process that I go through making a painting. And I've been painting a lot of structures, buildings, and barns and whatnot. They're in my neck of the woods. So this is what I see often as I drive through the country. And I think I'm struck by most of these are Amish homes, and I love the simplicity, the clean lines, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, the big white clean shapes. Um, Small rectangles. Like I just feel like there's a lot to work with, a lot of things I can sort of minimize the contrast in, and others that I can elevate the contrast in. So as I'm looking at this photograph, I start playing around with, what format do I want to use? Do I want to keep this a horizontal rectangle? And I did for a couple of paintings actually, but at this point I decided I wanted to try a square. So I simply, print out the photograph and use some paper to just visualize what that might look like. Once I've decided on that, I often use the grid system to just transfer the basic shapes onto a larger panel of the same format. So this is the photograph that I'm working from. And here I think I like that there's sort of a hierarchy here, one really big shape and lots of small shapes. And again, I like that there are horizontals and verticals and diagonals. So going to the panel, working in acrylic, I do often start with a layer of paint just to sort of build the surface a little bit. That's kind of random, colors that I maybe don't use all the time, mark making, just sort of having some fun. But I don't do that for very long because I don't want to build up so much texture that I may not want later. So I kind of keep it smooth, troweling it on, that sort of thing, and come right in and start working on the composition, and the subject matter. And I think a lot of people paint more intuitively than this. I I feel more freedom when I have the basic structure in mind. So yeah, I can play a little bit first just to get some paint down, but then I need to see where I'm going. So I've used that system to block in these shapes, and I draw the grid with a water soluble pencil so that I can easily wipe it off. And then of course you got to start coming in with darks and lights, right? Because that's important to the composition. And I think here I'm, questioning, like, are these all too dark, or are they too similar in value? Does that need to change up a little bit? And often I'll take a picture of the painting in process and in progress, and I'll put it into the Pocket Procreate app where I can kind of play with it a little bit. So this is a sketch created on my phone in the Pocket Procreate app, which is really fun to use. And, it just kind of gives you some ideas. And I'm thinking here, maybe a little, uh, maybe I need a bigger dark shape. So I sort of added a tree shape over here on the left, and playing around with those ideas kind of helps me to see where to go next. And I did decide to put that tree shape in, and I'm still sort of playing around with these random marks, but not sure if I want to keep them or not. But I do love that really simple plain white and the softness of the pink. I went back into Procreate to see if I could minimize some of the blue. I really wasn't sure about that. And maybe, bring some of that light from the house shape up into the sky. And so that's where I went with this next. This is still wet, so it's a little weird looking, but you can still see some remnants of the blue, and even in here, I don't know if you can see that, but still there's a little bit of that very first pass on here. So this painting ended up here. Um, I did eliminate the blue for the most part, but brought in some smaller marks and some of the pencil marks and drips and spatters and whatnot. But I like that this kept that feeling of calm and simplicity that I noticed originally in the photograph. Um, so I hope that's helpful to you. Thank you for watching. That's all.